Ladies and gentlemen, don't look at me. Olivia's here with Media Watch. Olivia, starting with the election in Egypt, what are we hearing and reading on the internet?
Well, I've been looking at the civilian journalism side of things today, of course, in Egypt. Everyone tweeting, posting on Facebook, posting photos that more than once my computer crashed as I followed it. People in Egypt today are really, really active as they go to the polls. Now, I'm just going to give you a few of the best images from the streets today. Wael Ghanim, he tweeted first. This is a great photo of a couple who went to vote straight after their wedding, in costume and onto their party. This is how eager people were to vote. And our correspondent in Cairo as well, I love this photo, she posted this on Facebook, of men sitting down waiting to go to vote an hour and a half before the polling station opened, before they went to work, because they really wanted to make it. And then you've got, all sorts of people, a guy carrying his father who's disabled on his back so he could go to vote. You've got a young mother taking her little child into the polling station with her. So, there's been a real excitement around this election and people really keen to share it with everyone on the internet. What I found really interesting, especially in the Western media, is the role of women in this election. They seem to be focusing very much on how women are voting, women participating, and some news sources are even saying that more women are voting than men, actually. Although, it's quite a dichotomy because this article in The Independent, for example, the journalist went to interview women at an all-female polling booth. And even though they were very keen to take part, many of them didn't have high hopes for the outcome of the election. They said that everything's too male-dominated, that the candidates are men, the men will get the top jobs, and they are worried about the influence of the military and the religious groups.
Indeed, one of the issues too, the influence of Islamists as well, because clearly if there is a more Islamist slant to the government, that could mean very bad things for women's rights and women's development.
They could be curtailed. But what I found really interesting was that in the eyes of the press, this is really a very female election. I saw so many front pages from Australia to Canada to France to the UK with the photograph of a woman and her finger, stained with the ink, saying that she'd voted. This has become really the symbol of this year's vote, the female voter having taken part.
So from the outside, people looking at what this means for women, what this means for minorities perhaps, such as Christians, for instance, but from within Egypt, the candidates are all, either the main candidates, Islamists or former cronies of Hosni Mubarak. That's kind of the depressing thing, isn't it?
People are very worried about, absolutely.
OK, where are we going next?
Azerbaijan, Eurovision Song Contest.
OK, this could be happy. Then again, it could have a slightly bitter tinge to it.
Well, I hope you'll be tuning in because it's set to be a good show. But not only that, it's obviously very controversial this year, mainly because of the issue that many activists want to flag up Azerbaijan's questionable human rights record. It's been reported absolutely everywhere. Today we saw protests in Baku outside a television channel. They're trying to let everyone know because while the world's spotlight is now on the country, they're taking this opportunity to get their message across. There's a lot of actual activism going on that's not on the streets but on the internet. I've been following a few bloggers through their websites and their YouTube channels, and there's one guy who blogs from Azerbaijan, and he's shown the big issue, which is the forced evictions around certain neighbourhoods of Baku, where people are forced to move out of their homes for the construction of the Eurovision Stadium. And the footage is really shocking. You see people coming back to piles of rubble that were once their home, people being kind of raided in the middle of the night.
We're talking no warning, just basically they turn up and say, get out, we're knocking your houses down.
Absolutely. So this is the real big issue, the forced evictions for local activists. And one musician's actually tried to highlight this in a kind of entertaining way. It's great. He's done a song, the alternative Eurovision song. His name's Jamal Ali, and he talks about being told to get out of his house, being, poor, being homeless, being beaten up by the police. And this has been very, very popular on YouTube.
Can we listen?
We can listen to it. It's not a bad song.
Catch more of that online, Olivia. Thank you very much. That was Media Watch. Stay with us. More news to come here on France 24.